Hey, welcome back into the channel, guys. Thanks for joining me Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. And I had an interesting post in a Facebook group today, my Facebook group, Thrifter Reseller World. Young lady, I believe she's late 20s, early 30s, working a full-time office job. She's been doing it for about 6 or 7 years. She makes decent money. She lives currently in a roommate situation. She wants to eventually be able to live on her own, but she does not make enough money in her job to do that with the current economy. She actually lives here in Florida where I live. I don't believe she lives near me. I believe she's a couple hours away. But she basically said she wants to take her reselling full-time or more hours because she makes good money. She said she's making about $1,500 profit a month, sometimes up to $2,000 a month in her reselling, but it's limited hours. She can only work a couple hours a week. She sources from local thrift stores, garage sales on the weekend, yard sales. Of course, she's in Florida, so we have those all year round. But she really wants to take more time to go to estate sales, to do it on Fridays when she's at work. There's a lot of good sales in our area. She just doesn't have the time working a job. She said she put out this story, which was a great story and a great read. That she leaves for work. She has to be to work by 8:30. So she leaves for work at 8. She's up around 7:15. And then she does not get off work until at least 5 o'clock. And by the time she's home, it's 5:36. She usually makes something to eat, dinner, talks with her roommate, does the whole nightly shower, bedroom routine. And it's time to go to bed. And she'll spend her time at night in her bedroom or in her part of the house or whatever it is they have, photographing and getting up as many items as she can handle, but there's not much more time left in this. So how many people in the comment section can kind of sympathize or, go with this? Like, you don't have enough time in the day because you're working a full-time job. So we call this a catch-22. Somebody wants to quit their job and go full-time in reselling, but they have to have their job to pay the bills. And if you're working your job, there's not enough time in the day to put into the reselling to make enough money to quit your job. So first thing is, don't quit your job, guys. I always advise everybody, do not quit your job. The only way you quit your job to go into any business, be it reselling or anything else, is if that job is making way more than enough money to cover your bills and give you reinvestment money. Or if you've saved up maybe 9 to 12 months, that might be sufficient to, be able to live on and try it out. Or if you have a backup job or you can go back to your job, lots of reasons, but don't just up and quit your job, guys. Please don't do that. But yeah, so back to her story. She is wondering from the reseller community, and this is a tough question advice-wise for me to answer, is how can she go about getting more time in the day? She does already on the weekends. As she said, she spends her whole weekends off of work, working on her reselling. She tries to do as much as she can at night. She tries to get up early to get her packages ready. She only sells a few a day. Again, she's only doing about $1,500 a month in profit. So we can assume she's doing 25 to 3 in sales. So that's still pretty good. That's $80 a day, right? $80, $90 a day. I mean, assuming she's got a $20, $25, she's still selling a few items a day, 3 or 4 items. So what advice can we give her? I worked teenage jobs, but when I was 19, 20, 21, I went into selling, living at home with my parents, flipping on Craigslist, not having a job. So I haven't actually ever experienced this. I've been lucky enough, and I'm grateful for it, that I never had to go down this route of, do I quit my job? What can I do full-time versus what can I do for reselling? Not really one of my strong points, to tell you guys. I've always had the freedom to do what I want. So what advice would all of you give her? And if you were going to ask me from an outsider's point of view, from somebody who hasn't done it but can tell you I've seen 1,000 other people in the situation, this is my, definition of advice for her. Don't take on overtime at work. Don't take on any extra hours. Try to get in and out of work as quick as you can. Grind as hard as you can at work to get it out of the way and get back to your reselling. You're going to have to work at night. You're going to have to work weekends. You're going to have to plan your trips to the thrift stores, to garage sales, estate sales, auctions, wherever it is that she goes. I would highly suggest that she starts trying to find merchandise that she can have shipped in, so she does not have to spend those precious free hours that she has sourcing at the stores, driving around, spending gas, spending time, spending her excess only precious free time she has sourcing. you need to spend that time listing and selling rather than sourcing. So she can find some direct sources. And I told her I would link this video. I hope she comments on it. If she can find some sources to ship merchandise in, like I have wholesale different type inventory come in, then that would free up a ton more time. I imagine at least 50% or 60% of her free time is spent sourcing and driving around, and sometimes probably fruitlessly without any rewards. So that's another thing. I think she lives a couple hours away here in Florida. I know it's Florida. I don't think it's near me. I think it's a few hours away, like I said. So I'm going to take a stab that she's on the Atlantic coast. I live on the Gulf Coast of Mexico, and the Atlantic coast would be cities like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Pompano Beach, Jupiter, Vero, all the way up to Jacksonville. Orlando's kind of in the middle. But any of those towns would be fine if she lives in one of those big towns. Coconut Grove, they're all high-end, wealthy areas, especially in South Florida. So she should have some opportunity out there to network, make connections, still buy locally, but also get some stuff shipped in, or meet someone locally that she can just take one trip and pick everything up. So that's sort of my advice on that side of it. Also, she needs to figure out what items are her most profitable, focus on those so she's not wasting time on the little fillers. You can do the fillers and the small stuff later when you're a full-time seller. Finally, she needs to save her money. She needs to just not go to Netflix or Starbucks or any of this stuff for months and months. It's going to suck. But save all the money you possibly can, young lady, and get it stashed away so that when the time comes that you feel you are ready to possibly think about going full time and maybe making that leap, you have several months of your bills saved up. You have several months of reinvestment inventory money. Don't forget, you don't just need enough money to pay your bills. You need money to put into the business that you can physically take away. This money's got to go for bills, and this money's got to go over here that goes in an account that you can spend. Make sure you don't have credit card debt if at all possible. In case there's an emergency, you have that credit card to use only in an emergency or only to fund the business that you're going to pay off every month or every other month if you do a float card. Make sure that you've looked into insurance, health insurance policies in the event that her work provides her health insurance. I don't know whether it does or not. Any kind of perks or benefits that you can cover as well. Make a really strategic income to debt to outgoing, incoming cash flow chart. So if you don't know how to do this, basically you can start with a simple spreadsheet or a notepad. You will put on the left-hand side all of your bills and the dates. So you'll put the first, rent's due, the second, the electric's due, the third, water's due, the fifth, the car payment's due, the seventh, the car insurance is due. And so you'll make a list date-wise, right? And then on the right-hand side, you're going to make today's date and you're going to put your bank account and how much you have in it. So like June 24th or June 25th, rather, $5,000 in the bank account. And then you're going to put, eBay deposit due tomorrow, the 26th, $80. I sold some stuff directly on Instagram, got some PayPal or Venmo, so that's going to come in 2 days. That was $70. You're going to put that in, you're going to have that total. So you might have $5,600 of incoming cash flow, and you might have for the next 30 days outgoing cash flow of $3,000. So you're plus $2,600 over the next 30 days if you don't make a single dime. And then, of course, add in your food and gas estimates and try to stick to those so they're part of that total as well. And so you know that you want to be at a higher point next month than you were this point. So you have $5,600 in cash with $3,000 in bills due in the next month. You're plus $2,600. So when we get to the next month, July 25th, you want to be more than plus $2,600. That way you're growing your account. So you have to make more than that $3,000 in bills, obviously, in a month, because that's your minimum amount due, to get yourself higher and higher to where you can start, saving and reinvesting more and more. So that's your goal. And that tells you that you need to make $100 a day. And then every day on the third row to the right, you're going to add each day, the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. And at the end of that day, you're going to write down how much money actually came into your accounts that day. Not what you sold, not what you shipped, how much is deposited into your accounts each day. And then you can keep a running total of where you're at and whether you're on pace or not pace. If after 5 days, you've only had $300 deposited, you're short $200. If you had $700 deposited, you're plus $200 above your goal. So that's sort of a cash flow chart. It's just like it's not a P&L, but it's just sort of an inflow outflow chart. I keep that for myself all the time to make sure my months are going the way that I want them. That's in addition to the normal accounting sheet that I do. So those are my tips, my advice for her. I'd love to hear your advice down below for her. Time management, huge. killing yourself for a couple of months so that you can be free later. So it's a short-term death and for a long-term freedom. And budgeting, cash flow, keeping track of the expenses and the finances. Those are the three most important things: time, money, effort. So hopefully she watches this video, listens to it, takes my advice, takes some of your advice from the comments section. I hope to hear from her in the comments, and lets us know how it goes in a few months. Maybe I'll be able to catch up with her and see how she is in 6 months or 9 months, whether she got to quit that job or not, and how she's doing. So appreciate everyone watching. It really means a lot to me. Also, guys, don't forget 2 big announcements. One is that Mark II, not your dad's CPA, licensed reseller, licensed CPA, experienced reseller, excuse me. He has his tax course during tax season. Everyone knows about it. But right now, for the rest of the year going forward, instead of paying a ton of money, thousands or hundreds of dollars for consultations, you can actually join Mark's community. It's linked down below. It's just a few dollars. It's less than the cost of fast food, basically, nowadays. Gotta love that. And you can be a part of Mark's community where you can ask and get answered any tax questions, finances, accounting questions you need anytime, 7 days a week. Go check him out down below. It's only available for 3 days. He cannot take that many people because he's only one guy. So don't miss that opportunity. I'll link that below. And my fulfillment center, Ecommerce Listers and Ecom Fulfillment, is taking orders now for inventory. We'll pay you to ship your inventory to us. We will photograph it, list it, store it, and fulfill and ship it out when it sells. We check your sales every day. eBay, Poshmark, Etsy, Shopify, and Amazon FBM. So let us know. We'll get it listed for you. We'll get it stored, and we'll take care of all your shipping needs. So you can go travel the country, relax on the beach, do whatever you want. Email me, rockstarflipper@gmail.com, or ecommercelisters@gmail.com is even better. And until the next video, I hope to hear a lot of great advice from all of you down in the comments helping your fellow reseller. Enjoy your evening. Let me know if you have questions, comments, or concerns down below, and I'll see everyone next time.